In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a basic fidget cube. Something you can put in your pocket, rub your thumb around all 6 sides, and just to pass the time. To start, you need a cube. So I'm going to drag the box shape right in the center of my work plane, and this is what I'm going to start working with. 20 by 20 by 20 is the default shape size. I'm going to change this to be double the size. So I'm going to make it 40 by 40. And click on the height, and 40. I find that to be a decent size box. And this, once we're all done, we can resize it to be any size we want later as well. The original box has some pretty sharp edges, and so to soften some of those edges, you can use the shape tools on the right-hand side and play with the radius. Now, if I slide this radius bar all the way across, you can see I can go anywhere from a complete solid box to a sphere practically. I find a good nice solid number is 3. So I can click over in this number and actually just type the number 3 and press enter. And that gives me a nice good rounded edge that feels soft and it's not going to cut into anything. The next thing we need to do is we need to add something to each of the 6 sides. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave the bottom side completely flat. Sometimes it's nice to have a flat, so it makes it easier to 3D print for one, and to there's we don't need to put something on every single side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my work plane tool to help me out. This is a really useful tool. Watch what it does. If I click on the work plane and I drag it onto my shape, you can see it wraps around all these different sides. And I'm going to click on let go of my mouse button at the very top of the cube. And what that does is it brings the work plane to the top of the cube. So now anything that I drag over is now going to rest exactly on top of the cube. And I'm going to grab a sphere. So I'm going to grab a sphere and put it, and I know for sure that it's exactly touching the top of my cube. Now this sphere is way too big. I want to resize this one to be a 6 by 6 by 6 sphere. Now I could click on the corners and type the numbers and change the 20s to 6s, but here's a different way to resize shapes if you want all the sides to be the same uniform number. I'm going to hold the shift button in, I'm going to click on this top button here, and I'm going to drag it down, and you'll see it's resizing all 3 sides, I guess, at the same rate. And so there's a 6 by 6 by 6 cube that could work. Alright, so now I'm going to click on this cube, and I'm going to select everything, align it, and I'm going to make sure it is centered on the top of my cube. Alright, I'm going to click away. Now what I'm going to do with the cube is I want to duplicate it. I'm going to make a little bit of a bumpy surface on here. So one of the things in order to help make things easier to move apart, I changed my snap grid down here to 2 millimeters. By default, it's 1 millimeter. I'm going to make it 2 millimeters. It kind of makes things snap a little bit better for what we're doing in this project. So I'm going to click on this ball right here, or sphere, and I'm going to duplicate it 2 times. 1, 2. And so now I'm going to take this, and if you watch any of my previous videos, you know that duplicates are there. They're just right on top of one another. So if I click on one, I'm going to use my right arrow key and move it over. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. That sounds good. And I click on this next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have 3 spheres right on top of my cube. Now to save some time, I'm going to hold the shift button in. I'm going to click on all 3 of these spheres to select all 3 of them. And I'm going to group them together. And I'm going to duplicate them 2 times. And so now I'm going to press the up arrow button 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I have a nice little array of spheres. Now, that seems kind of silly to have them on top. They might not even stick to the printer. So I'm going to embed those spheres into the cube. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the shift button again. I'm going to click on all 9 spheres. There are 3 groups of 3. I'm going to group them all together. And this little, I call it the black Christmas tree. If I click on this, I'm going to embed it in to -4. So what that means, it's now going -4. It's going 4 millimeters inside of the cube. And so I think that's nice for the bumps. And if I want to make sure everything's perfect, I can select everything again, align, and make sure that these are perfectly aligned in the center. And now I have my first side of my cube done. Nice little bumps that I can rub my thumb across. Let's ready for side number 2. I'm going to drag my work plane this time. I'm going to put it on the side of the cube. Okay? And so let's take a look at our shapes here. Let's pick, let's go with a round roof. I'm going to click on the round roof right here. And it doesn't really look like much. I am going to shrink it down to be about 6. And shrink this down to be about maybe 3. How about that? Okay. And maybe I'll make it, instead of 20, I'll make it 24. Alright, now I'm going to select, now I'm going to hold the shift button in, I'm going to click on my round roof and the shift button and click on the cube. And I'm going to make sure it is aligned in the center of both sides. Now I'm going to click on this piece right here, duplicate it 1, 2 times, and use my right arrow key 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and then left arrow key 1, 2, 3, 4 times. There we go. Now I have some bumps on the side of my cube. I'm going to drag my work plane tool anywhere but the cube, and now we have 2 sides done. Okay, now we're ready for a third side. So I'm going to drag my work plane tool into any side. Now you can really pick any side you want. There's no rhyme or reason why I'm picking these sides right here. This one, I'm going to keep this one real simple. I'm going to drag a big sphere over here. And I want this sphere to be 30 by 30. So I'm going to hold my shift button in while I make it 30 by 30 by 30. And I'm going to take this sphere and I'm going to make it a hole this time. Okay. I'm going to click on my cube, hold the shift button in and click on the sphere, and use my trusty align tool one more time. I'm going to center and center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sphere and I'm going to grab that black Christmas tree and I'm going to embed it into the cube a little bit. And it doesn't seem like much. Okay, but if I were to select the entire Fidget cube right now and group it, what it did was it's going to cut out this portion. So now I have like a nice little groove that I can rub my thumb inside of. Okay, so I have 3 sides done. I have 2 more to do. Again, I'm not going to do the bottom side. Alright, so I'm going to grab my work plane again. I'm going to pick this side over here. This time I'm going to pick the regular roof option. Click on the regular roof. Now what I want to do is I want to take this roof and I want to make it smaller. So I'm going to hold my shift button in and so I can resize all the sides at the same time and make it a 6 by 6 roof. Now I want to center this roof onto the cube right here, but unfortunately if I were to select both and align them, if you look at this box right here, it's actually using the tops of these spheres to align, and that's not what I would like. So I'm going to click on the cube, and I'm going to ungroup it. Now I can shift hold my roof, shift hold my cube, and now I can align it, and it'll be aligned with the cube, not the cube plus spheres. And then just like all the other ones, I'm going to click on this guy here, duplicate it 1, 2 times, use my right arrow key, 1, 2, 3, 4, left arrow key, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have them evenly spaced apart. I'm going to hold my shift button in and select these 3 pieces, and I'm going to group them together and then duplicate it 1, 2 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have my 4th side done. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now I have one more side that I want to do. So I'm going to click on my work plane tool and put it onto the 4th and final side. Okay, and on my fourth side here, I'm just going to look through my shapes and see if anything stands out that I haven't used yet. That's something different. Here's one called a torus shape. It kind of looks like a donut. If I click on that, I can put it right in the center right here. That'd be kind of cool and fun. And so I want to make this guy a little bit bigger. So I'm going to hold the shift button in, and I'm going to resize it so that the sides are about, we'll say 30. Okay. Now I'm going to click on my fidget cube, hold the shift button, click on the torus shape, and then I'll align them like I do all the other shapes. And on this one here, I'm going to click on the torus. I'm going to click away, click on the torus shape one more time, and I'm going to sink it into the cube -4, just like I did with the spheres up top. Now if I click on work plane, move it away, now I have like a little donut shape on the side. And I'm pretty much done. The last thing I need to do is just select everything. I just draw a box over everything, click the group button, and now I have my grouped fidget cube that I could print, put in my pocket, and with nice smooth sides, some bumps and edges, and something different on each side just to kind of make things just a little bit different. And if I click on the whole cube itself, once it's grouped, I can hold the shift button in, I can grab the top, and I can resize it larger and smaller to be any size that I would prefer. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that's how you make a fidget cube. Thanks for watching.